Hello, Quad Flying Fun here, and as promised, what I'm going to do, I wanted to do a detailed review of the transmitter on this MJX X600, and I've got the, let me turn it off here, I've got the return to home figured out on it. Actually, it works pretty well. I'll demonstrate that here in just a second. But as promised, I talked the other day about this transmitter, and I think it's kind of neat because you can use this using these buttons here. You can set it to, you can have throttle over here, yaw, and then aileron, or your bank, and then pitch forward and pitch back on this side. However you want to configure this thing, you can do it in any way. And then you've got a button down here that can switch around your ailerons and rudder. That's what they've got it named as here. I just use pitch and yaw, same thing. And here's this button here does your beginner, intermediate, and advanced. That's your button there for that. And like I've said, the basically beginner's useless. It doesn't really do much of anything. But intermediate's what you'll fly in most of the time, and then when you put it in advanced, like I said in my initial review, when you give it full forward pitch, or actually you get about 75% of forward pitch, it'll flip and it'll do the same on the bank too. So you have to be aware of that when you're flying it in advanced. But it'll do some it does some nice loops and barrel rolls using that feature. It's just I wish there was some way you could come out of it when you initially go into your forward pitch and then use it, because it'll flip forward on you when you sometimes if you give it just a little bit too much forward pitch. But it does work. I don't particularly care for it because I like doing all my barrel rolls and loops and stuff like that manually. But it does work, and I'm going to try to do some manual flips with this. I had my tarantula out last night and I was doing manual flips with this. I want to try this guy and see if it can do it. I kind of doubt whether it will do it, but I'll give it a whirl and see how it works. Now, the way the one key or return works, you have to put it into headless mode first, which you use this button. Now this is your manual flip button over here. So if you're in intermediate and you press this, then you hit your stick, it will flip. Okay, to get it to go into headless mode, you push it and hold it for about 2 seconds, and it beeps. I think it does 2 beeps. And then if you want to come out of that, you press and hold again for 2 seconds, and I think it does 3 beeps. And then you let off and it comes out of it. You can also tell too, when you're in headless mode, the lights on the quad will be flashing on and off. They're steady when you're flying in normal mode, but when you go into headless mode, so you know you're in headless mode, they flash. And then when you do your one key return, like say the quad is off in that direction, like over top of my car and my buildings, when you push this button, it uses the transmitter as its base, and it flies back to that position. So if you're over here, it kind of comes back. I mean, it actually comes straight back. So once you get it into view, you need to let off of that and then take control of it. Now you have to be aware when you're in headless mode that no matter how the quad is orientated, this way is always going to be back, this way is always going to be forward, no matter how the quad is orientated in space. So you have to remember that, which is a neat feature. Like if you've got a camera on it and you want to do a pan, like you could fly a 360-degree circle around you, and you can keep the camera right on you by doing that. So that's one of the uses of that. But the one key return does work, but you have to remember when the quad when you see it coming, like if it get away from you and you'd hit that, you come back like this, it's coming back. You just once it gets back, you have to let off of that button, and you have to be pointed. Like when you turn the quad on, when it uses that bearing, just like right now, when I turn this on, you'll see it uses this bearing as its reference point. So it will always use that as its reference point as it wants to come back. So you have to remember which way you return too, and turn that direction when you turn the quad on, and then pull back or hit this button, and you'll see the quad come back. And I'm going to demonstrate that here in just a minute. So got a little bit of wind tonight. So what I'll do, I'm going to fly it upwind, which is going to be that way to the west. You can see the sun over there. And then I'll just let it hang, and then I'll put it in headless mode, and I'll hit the 1 key return, and just it will come back. I mean, I already tried it just a few minutes ago. So let's get this guy bound. Now that we got that out of the way, turn the quad on. Love that on-off button. All you other manufacturers, if you watch these videos, make sure you incorporate that into your quads. That's a nice feature. Okay, let's turn the transmitter on. Now you can see down here, I'll get it up here a little bit closer. See this right here, you toggle that, that's your beginner, intermediate. When it's like this, like a half moon, it's in intermediate. When it's like that, that's advanced, that's beginner. Okay, and then it has all your other functions on here, and I've got it in mode 2 right now, which is what I think most Americans fly in anyways. Okay, let's get the quadcopter in the air, and like I said, I'm going to demonstrate the headless mode and the 1 key return. So let's fly. Now I got some wind this evening, so it's going to be kind of difficult to keep this guy flying straight and level any length of time, but you know, I'll be able to handle it. This little quad does fairly well in the wind. Now I've got it in intermediate mode, and you can see the wind buffing it around, kind of jumping and moving around a little bit. So let's go ahead and put it in headless mode. Okay, we're in headless mode. Now let's bring him back over here. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to turn on or hit the 1 key return, and the quad, like I said, will use the transmitter as its reference point. Now I'm pointing in the same direction as it was when it when the quadcopter was bound. So let's hit the 1 key return. Now see, the quadcopter's coming back, coming back, coming back. Now the wind's come out of it, the wind's taking it, so it's kind of difficult to keep it orientated. But you can see the quad lights on the quad are flashing back and forth, and that means you're in headless mode. So let me do that again. So let's bring it over this way just a little bit. The wind will bring it, the way the wind's blowing, it'll bring it back to me. So let's hit return to home, and here it comes. Okay, hit the key again to bring it out. Once the quad gets to you, you've got to bring it out. You have to hit the key again to bring it out of return to home. So let's go ahead and get this guy out of headless mode. There's the 3 beeps, and now we're in normal flight mode. Well, you can see I got some wind today. It's really blowing out here. Probably, I'd say 15-20 mile an hour winds. Now let's see how this guy flies on it. Nice time to test it. Put her down. Well, let's see if this does. I've heard other people complain about it really diving towards the ground in the wind. Boy, it does. But I've had other quads I've flown in this kind of wind, and no matter what they are, they'll with wind like this, it really buffets them around. And you can see it's doing this one the same way. Let me get turned into that wind. Boy, that wind is something else. Whew. It's kind of gusting up here. I've got it was not that bad just a minute ago when we did the test there, and boy, it really kicked up hard there. You can see the quad, the accelerometers, I'll look at it, beating it around. It's just trying to fly straight and level right now, and it's beating him all over the place. Not a lot of fun trying to fly in wind like that, but you can do it. So with that said, since it's so windy tonight, I just wanted to get out here and get that headless mode and return to home function demonstrated. So let's go ahead and get this guy on the ground. It's not going to be a lot of fun to fly him in this kind of wind. They're coming in. Let's get him on the trailer here. See if I can land in this wind. Get him down on the trailer. Kind of hard to get it to come down with that wind like that. It gives it a lot more lift. Come on. Come on. We're going to have to make a kind of a run at it here like a carrier landing. And there we go. Put it right, almost right in the middle of the deck. Okay, so that was my transmitter review, and we actually got this up in the air, and I demonstrated the headless mode and the one-key return. So if that helps, or I hope that helps everyone to have that explained, because I know the instructions are, I don't know, the Chinese instructions are kind of vague on that stuff, and it's kind of hard to understand. I read through them, and it's difficult to say the least. But if you like that, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe. Until the next time, see ya. Bye.